Hello everyone, my name is Noah Larkey and I'm a current senior here at Columbia University studying electrical engineering and economics. Today I'll be talking about New York City and global engagement and kind of how Columbia is able to combine the two together in order to enhance our studies here as students. In terms of New York City, there is a lot of different ways to get around. We have the Columbia University subway station right here next to campus. It's right on the 123 lines for about 15 minutes from Times Square. In addition to taking the subway, there's something called City Bike. It's a bike share membership program. So there's docked bikes all throughout New York City every few blocks. And so you can grab a bike from one, drop it off at the other. You have the choice between either biking in the streets and in the bike lanes, or there's a really nice bike path right along the Hudson River that you can take to get downtown as well. And you can also walk a lot of places. There's been many times where my friends and I have decided to just walk downtown and then 80 blocks later ended up at like a great place for dinner. There's also a lot of different parks within New York City. Aside from Central Park and the High Line, two of the larger parks in the city that you can walk around in, we also have two right on either side of Columbia. So to our west, we have Riverside Park right along the Hudson River, and then to our east, we have Morningside Park, another one that's nice to walk around as well. So it's definitely a very walkable city, and there's a lot of good public transportation, and so it's really accessible for us as Columbia students to be able to access all the different resources within New York City. At Columbia, we actually get access to over 30 museums for free with our student ID cards as part of a program called the Arts Initiative. Another aspect of the Arts Initiative is we get heavily discounted tickets for Broadway shows, so musicals, plays, we can get discounted tickets for jazz concerts, movies, all sorts of different performances and showings within the city. And so it's again making it accessible to us on that college student budget. The Center for Career Education at Columbia has about 70,000 different jobs and internships posted every single year on their portal that's specifically for Columbia students. So that's going to be jobs for after you graduate, jobs for internships during the summer, but also for internships during the school year. And so one of my friends, she had a job working at an asset-backed mortgage company doing software development work for the past 3 years. And so on Fridays, she would go downtown and work with the startup to be able to kind of get real-world industry experience while still being a full-time Columbia student. Another key aspect of being in New York City is its tie into global engagement. So every year when the United Nations is in session, we try and get as many world leaders as possible to come speak to us Columbia students as part of the World Leaders Forum. So I got to ask, for example, the president of Rwanda about his 2050 economic plan and why he thought it would work differently than the 2020 economic plan, which was very similar, which ended up failing. And so I think it's a really unique opportunity that us as Columbia students get to ask these world leaders questions about their economic policy, their political policy, and their interaction with their region around them. You can either study abroad during the semester at a whole bunch of different places. We have study abroad programs on all 7 continents. There's also global centers in multiple countries where you can have Columbia professors stationed there to make it a little bit easier to tie in your study abroad experience with your Columbia education. You're also able to study abroad over the summer. So you can do classes in Paris and take art humanities and music humanities there, and a whole bunch of other things over the summer as well. There's also a lot of other opportunities for international travel. One example is over the summers, you can do an international internship. So I've had friends who have done internships in Tokyo, Berlin, Bali, and a whole bunch of other places throughout the world. Another way of getting that international travel experience is through various clubs on campus. One of the clubs I'm a part of, Engineers Without Borders, works on rural electrification and water distribution systems in Ghana, Uganda, and Morocco. And so in addition to the really good hands-on engineering experience that I was gaining, I was also getting a really good understanding of the communities that we're working with and seeing kind of how we're able to incorporate our projects to really directly meet their needs and making sure that we're doing it in a sustainable manner. So even after the 5 to 10 years that we're working in those communities, we're also going to be able to ensure that the project lasts long beyond our time there. So as you can see, there's a lot of different ways that we tie New York City into our education, a lot of different opportunities to explore within the city, and a lot of ways that we expand our horizons to the rest of the world. We can't wait to see how you as a student would thrive in New York City and take advantage of all the resources that Columbia has to offer.